I'm sure people are gonna come in as we go, and that's fine. And if you guys need to, like, get up, walk around, do stuff in your house, you're not offending me. Don't worry, I'm not staring at you. But basically, this will probably take us less than an hour, I'm hoping. But this is basically a live coaching event, and the reason I decided to do something like this was because I needed to get out of my basement zone down here, and B, I just think it helps a lot when you can see someone and you're talking to them and it's live. It's not a recording or a message on Facebook or an email. So that's why I chose this approach. Basically, this is kind of like something that I'm going to start doing more regularly as the team keeps growing and things are really ramping up. But basically, I just wanted to welcome everybody who took the time to call in or who takes the time to listen to this later, and thank you for your time and your interest and your patience with how strange I am. And I just wanted to throw that out there. So I do know, I think I know, at least sort of know, everybody that was calling in, or I've met you through Facebook or other things in the community. But just to be safe, my name is Ashley Sepala. I am a Diamond Beachbody coach, and I am looking to expand my team, but also our team at large. And what I really wanted to do was kind of just spend the next 30-45 minutes kind of explaining, giving examples from my own life of what I do and whether or not you think it's something that you would want to do too. And it's absolutely no pressure. As always, it's not my gig. It's nobody's gig in this. Just purely informational. And then, beyond that, we would talk next steps. And at the end, I've left time if anybody has questions and stuff of things that was like, oh, that didn't really make sense, or I could have explained it better. We'll go ahead and do those at the end. So basically, like I said, the objective of our call is to answer that question. Is coaching something that's right for me? And me, not meaning me, of course, me meaning you. Okay, so first thing, kind of, like I said, I introduced myself, but I kind of should explain who I am besides just my name and some random title, which, by the way, I do have kids. I have 2 little kids. My son is almost 4.5. My daughter is almost 2. I'm married. I have 2 pit bulls and 2 cats that are so annoying. And our house is very full. So I also work full-time for the state of Michigan as a web designer. So my life, my plate, and my husband's in college again. So it's very full. But this is my passion. I always have time for this. And so I just kind of wanted to share with you guys what my life was like before and what it is now. So I've been doing this for about a year now, actually. It's gone by really quickly. And a friend of mine who is actually my coach, I had kind of just, I guess, saw her kind of spreading out more on Facebook, because Facebook pumps up people that, have people watching them basically. And she was one of those people, and she was more like an acquaintance, like somebody I knew from, back in the day or whatever, if you will. And I saw that she was just getting in crazy good shape and talking about all this workout stuff. And I'm like, geez, this is random. And so one of the days that I was looking at her, I decided, okay, I'll just send her a message and be like, what are you doing? You look phenomenal. And because I had wanted to lose at least some of the weight after having my second baby. And she was already 6 months old, so I don't think this was premature or anything. I just could not. It wasn't going anywhere like it did after I had my son. So I was feeling kind of mopey, dopey, low energy, and saw her. It just kind of attracted my attention. So we started talking, and I ended up doing the 21-day fix program, if you're familiar with it. If not, I'll tell you about it later because I'm doing it again right now, with her once, through the whole group. And I lost 7 pounds and 16 inches in 3 weeks, which was crazy. But I decided to do it again because I knew that I was like, this is it. You start to get addicted to that. I can do this. I can finish something. So I did it again. And that time I ordered Shakeology. And by the end of that one, I had lost altogether, 16 pounds and over 30 inches. So for me, it was you look at that on paper and it's that's ridiculous. It's insane. It's only been 21 days. And so I was hooked. And so Shannon and I talked, and she's like, do you like, this is something you enjoy? Do you want to keep doing what you're doing? And I was like, yes. Like, I was all pumped up. I was ready to go. So I decided to be a coach about a year ago, and I was like, okay, this is super cool, and I'm pumped up, and like my Shakeology is free, and I get a discount on all these workout programs, and this is awesome, and I'm just gonna go tell everybody how awesome it is. And I like went full force because that's my personality. And I quickly found myself like on the verge of burning out within like 3 or 4 months. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I just wanted to tell everybody everything because I was so excited. And I feel like it ended up kind of doing me this huge disservice because it hit me like a ton of bricks about 6 months in last summer, and I was going to quit, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And I was just like, this is not going to work for me. My anxiety issues that I have, this is making it worse when it had always made it better. So I was going to quit. And my husband from day one has been like, why are you doing this? Like, I think you're turning into like one of those blonde beach chicks, and you're going to be, all weird and like doing crunches in the middle of the grocery store or something. And it's like, no, that's not what's going to happen. But I was met with resistance from him as well. So I had my own insecurities, definitely overwhelmed myself, and I didn't have a fan of it in my house. So I've been through all of that. And I had a conversation that I don't know why it made me decide to stick with it. So here I am now. It's been another 6 months. I went through some really messy stuff with my day job about 3 or 4 months ago that actually completely threw me off all my game in every sense of my life. So since I've kind of finally bounced back from that, I have completely reinvented my business and myself. And that's kind of where I am now. And I'm just super pumped up, and I know exactly what I need to be doing. And I've learned from my mistakes. And so I'm really excited to get to share that with other people at this point. So that's kind of where I am. And that's why I'm doing this. And I'm really excited. So there's lots of big things ahead in the future. So basically, what is a coach? What do I do? What does a coach not do? This is kind of the crux of a lot of it that answers most questions that I get. So basically, a coach is a normal person who wants to contribute, and you want to help other people. And the way you want to help other people is because somebody helped you. And it's awesome because basically you get to like be there from start to finish with people and be their support system and say like, it really does change people's lives. Like, it's so interesting to me because as big as the company that, we all affiliate with has grown, like as big as it's gotten in the last few years, this is still like the number one reason, like obesity is the number one reason why people in America are dying at young ages. I mean, there's diabetes, there's heart disease, there's strokes, there's high cholesterol, there's high blood pressure. And so many of these things are just related to the fact that we don't exercise and we don't eat properly. And it seems so simple, but it's what the difference is. And this is where the whole coach piece played in, is we are that support system, that extra push, that motivation, that accountability. And in turn, it keeps you accountable because it's like, yeah, we're all human, and you definitely should put your mistakes out there. I'm all for that because that makes you relatable. But on the flip side, that's kind of who we are. Like, that's what we stand for. And, ending the trend of, being unhealthy. And on top of that, it's not just unhealthy physically. I also see it as it's a whole person thing. I have my master's in social work, which is ironic. I don't use it at this juncture, but I do have it. It's hanging on my wall. And so for me, like the concept of health and fitness, I take it one step further. It's not just like, hey, I can fit my skinny jeans again. It's also, hey, I'm comfortable with who I am on the inside and the person on the outside. And even if they haven't lined up your entire life, this is kind of experience the kind of group of activities and people and what we do that will align those two images. And that's something that's huge and important to me. So I wanted to make sure I threw that out there. So basically, yeah, a coach is just a normal person who wants to live a healthier, more fulfilling life and then share that with others, and hopefully they can do the same thing. So along with that, things a coach is not. Coaches are, you heard me say I have my MSW. So I am not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a personal trainer. I've never had a gym membership, nor do I really ever want one, because I feel like it would just be a waste of money, because I don't want to go and work out in front of people and look disgusting and act like I know what I'm doing with a bunch of machines that I don't know what to do. So that's another reason why I enjoy it. I work out at home, and 9 times out of 10, I'm working out with dogs, kids, cats, toys, chaos everywhere. And that's fine, because that's real life. And it's saving us money, because I don't have a gym membership. I don't have to drive there. I don't have to find somebody to watch my kids or pay extra to put them in the little daycare at the Y. So it's worked. So basically, there's like a full spectrum if you decide, oh, I want to try coaching. So there's what we have, like 3 different layers. There's basically what I call like a discount coach, a preferred customer. So that's somebody who's like, hey, I really want to try a workout program or try a Shakeology thing. And you end up liking it. So you're like, okay, I'll just keep it. And basically you continue to get a coach discount forever and ever on men without actually needing to do anything. You're just getting the discount. You just have that account type, and that's how that goes. So that's all. Actually, if you looked at the scale of like the income disclosure statements for the company, 98% of the people, I think it might be 97 now, but 97% of the people who are coaches are just getting a discount. So it's only about 3% of the people who actually are building businesses from it, which is really interesting if you put it in perspective. So that being said, the next level up is basically what I see as like a hobby or a part-time coach, like a person who started out the way I did. Like I have a full-time job, I have a family, and I spend time like this with people, an hour or two every day, and then during the week, and then on the weekend, and I just get up early and I go to bed late and I grind it out, and I'm working my way towards being able to do this full time, because that's a dream that I have at this juncture. And then on the flip side, there are people who are full-time coaches, either from the get-go or they build up to it. Perfect example, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home dads, people who just need a side job, or maybe they just got out of college and aren't established yet. There's a lot of people who do this as a way of making an additional income while also getting to improve other people's lives and contribute. So there's the full spectrum, and only you know what works for you and what doesn't. And basically, the way I see it is, you don't need to be perfect at anything. You don't need to be perfect at nutrition. You don't need to be at your goal weight. You don't need to be like some sort of social media wizard or have 5,000 friends or anything like that. There's no requirements. This business does not play favorites. Every person has the exact same opportunity as every person before them and every person after them, forever and ever, amen. Because it literally is completely and solely up to you whether or not you succeed or fail and how you get there. And I'll get into that a little bit further. But basically, I just don't want you to think there was like some prerequisite, like, oh, you don't look like a Baywatch model, so, we don't really want you to do X, Y, or Z. And that's the case. So, and the more real you are, I think the more people will connect with you. And that's what's important, is that you connect with other people, because that's what everybody's looking for. Everybody's seeking connection, especially on a level like this, when it corresponds with how you feel about yourself. At least that's how I perceive it. So I'm looking for people who just have like me, I guess, kind of always wanted something more. You never totally fit in anywhere. Like you could kind of make it work, but you never really had. You're like, oh, this is me. And that's what this has become for me. So I'm looking for people who also like want to experience that same feeling. And additionally, there's the possibilities are limitless, as far as using this as a side income or eventually a full-time income, whatever, and a significant opportunity to leave a mark and in your community and legacy for your kids. And like, hey, I decided to go against the grain and this is what I did, and I lived fearlessly and I was rewarded for it. So what do coaches do basically? Like I said, we support, we motivate, we mentor, we share. We are not a sales force. We are not a sales team. We are not an advertising team for Beachbody. Beachbody I just saw the CEO in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, did $1.4 billion, I believe, in revenue sales, like money actually brought in after overhead last year. And they don't need us to help them earn that amount so much because they have their own advertising budget. So that's probably a good time to explain if you're not familiar. Beachbody was founded in 1998 by two different guys, both of which still work for the corporation. The CEO is Carl Daikeler. He is one of the co-founders, okay? They're based in Santa Monica, California. Must be rough. And the company got big by producing these at-home workout programs for various fitness levels that they then advertised through direct marketing, which at that time, infomercials. And because the internet wasn't, in all of our houses in 1998, it was just getting there. So, and back then it was like everybody knew about Amway and all these different things. And so it's like that concept was, okay, if you're going to go direct to your customer, not go through stores or distributors or wholesalers, you do infomercials and they order from you. So that's what they did. And when P90X came out in the early 2000s, the company exploded. For whatever reason, that really got on people's radar, and they started doing really well, and they've added literally a bajillion programs since then. And now with the 21-day fix in the last couple years, they've gotten that much bigger because that's what everybody was looking for. And when you see other people talking about it, you're like, ugh, what is everybody doing? And I don't know about it. So it does pique your interest in that sense. So don't feel like that, we're a sales team that we have to go out and sell all these things for Beachbody. Nope, doesn't have anything to do with that. They've got it under control. So keep that in mind. And what Beachbody had, once the internet became a little more common, they continue doing the infomercials. They still do them to this day, but they also, added to their product line. They developed Shakeology. They have, different fitness supplements and things like that, of which I'm too lazy to eat probably half of them, so that's not me. Some people are really into that though. And then they realized they had these message boards that are actually still on the website that people use every day. They were message boards, so almost like primitive Facebook. And people who were customers were interacting on these message boards and making groups on these message boards and encouraging and supporting one another and sharing their experiences and what's worked and what didn't work. And they caught on to that really quickly and realized we have something here, because if the customers are referring and talking about the products and supporting one another in these literally life-changing journeys for some of them, we need to get in on this and keep people talking about it. So the way they did that, decided to have a coaching network, and that's where Beachbody became Team Beachbody, and here we are now with about 400,000 coaches in the network, which is crazy because that seems like so many people, but it really, really, really isn't in perspective to how many people we could potentially reach. So that's kind of like the nitty-gritty. So now they have these groups, and now they have coaches, so they put two and two together. And what the crux of our job is as coaches is we run challenge groups, or fit clubs, which are in-person challenge groups. I've done fit clubs. I'm happy to share my experience with those. So I run challenge groups on Facebook, at least one a month. And it's so simple, and it keeps me on track, and it helps other people stay on track or get on track or whatever the case may be. And I do free groups as well. We could do just a nutrition or a clean eating group, or busy moms group, that's focusing on time management, or a stress reduction, anxiety prevention group, just different things that we're experiencing, and we can share what we're learning in these life hacks in some cases with other people, because overall that improves your health. So that being considered, that's kind of what we do. And so many people are like, well, how will I know what to say or what to do? We're actually part of the #1 team in the company for the last 2 years. And my upline is the top coach in the company and has been for the last 2 years, which is awesome. And she's an awesome person, so that makes it even more rewarding. And she's been doing this for 4 years, and she's doing phenomenal. She and her husband, they live in Pennsylvania. She retired her husband this summer, and they are both in their mid-30s and don't have to work anymore. And it's nuts because she's like, this doesn't seem like something that could have possibly ever happened, but it did. And so they've taken a lot of it, the company itself has taken a lot of what she's done And basically we have lots of these step-by-step guides. We have systems in place. We have scripts, we have trainings, we have resources literally out the wazoo. And all of that information has been pulled together because of Melanie being in the position she's in. So we have this huge pool of resources and information and knowledge. So it's not like you have to go out to Google and try to figure out like where the heck you're supposed to start or what any of this even means and, you know, what you're doing. We're there, we meaning the team, myself, everyone else, everybody supports everybody. And so don't feel like you're ever like on your own. And I guarantee you, if you have a question that just you're like, gosh, I should know this and I don't, just ask, because somebody else has already been through it. And we fail or succeed, you know, as an organization, because it goes, our influence is horizontal as well as vertical. We're not benefiting people only above us. We're not benefiting people to one side or the other of us. The whole thing is, it's a square. It's not a triangle. It's not a pyramid. And that's what I should talk about too. So pyramid scheme. I've been asked this so many times in the last year. Is this a scam? Is this a get rich quick scheme? Is this a pyramid scheme? No. And here are the reasons why. Because first of all, I am a big researcher. So when I first was presented with this, I guess, a concept, I was like, okay, I have to have all of my ducks in order, because there's no way that I'm investing my time, money, effort, anything into something that I don't feel comfortable with on my own, like doing my own research, not just what other people had told me. So I did. And basically, a pyramid scheme, I have learned, this is supposed to be a pyramid, even though it looks like a mitten because it's my hand. A pyramid essentially is only once you're at the top, and everybody below you doesn't really have a chance of ever getting to that level. Not true here. For example, Melanie, my upline, she surpassed her own coach 2 years in a row, and her coach has been doing it longer. Doesn't matter. So that's not how that works. Also, obviously, pyramid schemes are illegal because there is no actual transfer of sale of services or goods, in a pyramid scheme. Meaning, they say, okay, you invest this money in X, Y, Z, and you get this many people to sign up with you, and you'll get bonuses or kickbacks when you have people sign up for you, which is also illegal, which we also do not do. You don't get any money for getting a coach on your team. Your team just gets bigger and it helps everybody. So you're not getting like a $50 kickback or something. So all of those facets, if you put those things together, it's not a pyramid scheme. I can think of about 11 different companies right now that are known nationally that are using the exact same sales model, because it's network marketing and people freak out and are like, oh, you know, I'm like an Amway lady and I have to run around with soap in my trunk. And that's not the case at all. You don't have to have any merchandise. You don't have to invest $1,000 to start something. It's not like that at all. Not that kind of an investment. And I was thankful for that, because if not, my husband would have really not let me do it. So anyways, we run these challenge groups. That's kind of what the company's like. What's Melanie's story? Why do we run these challenge groups? We run them because basically Beachbody and now everyone else has found this is the secret sauce. You have the fitness options. They have awesome fitness programs for every level. You have the nutrition component. Every workout program comes with a nutrition guide, suggested recipes, and now the container system that everybody's obsessed with from the 21-day fix that can be applied to all their other programs. It's easy peasy. You don't ever have to count calories again. And it's probably saved me from completely turning into a Little Caesars pizza in the last few months. So that's a good thing. And you combine those things, you know, with the support and the accountability that we discussed that are in the challenge groups and in the environment of being with other coaches, and boom, you have it. People succeed, people see results, and it's fantastic. It's amazing to see some of the success stories and meet some of these people who literally their lives were changed by things that the company creates. So that's kind of what that's about. And then, like I said, we generally use social media because Facebook's an easy place to run groups or events and connect with people, because that's what it's for. And I remember thinking, I'm so going to run out of people. I don't know anybody. I have like 2 friends and I'm good with it. And, you know, I got my husband and I don't have time for anything else. It's not that I don't want to be with other people. I just don't have time for them. So I thought, oh, for sure I'm screwed. Like once I bug the crap out of my family and my friends to, you know, work out and do stuff with me, I'm not going to have anybody and this is going to fall flat on its face. That's not true, because as you get trained and developed and more comfortable with yourself, you very quickly find there's lots of ways and lots of opportunities to meet new people and expand your network. So don't worry about that either. So the last two things I want to go over. We talked about the pyramid scheme gig, so we know, hopefully we've got that cleared up. If there's more questions, I'm fine with answering them. But obviously the next big question in my mind when I heard all this was, okay, so how do I earn money doing something like this? So if it's not, you know, A or B, then what is it? So basically there's two primary ways. One, we get commission from direct sales of workout programs or other products, aka challenge packs, which are a full workout program, all the goodies that come with it, and a 30-day supply of Shakeology, of which I will explain Shakeology more to you at a later date if you aren't familiar with it. But it's one of those things of which I was like, I don't need this. I'm fine without it. I'll buy Slim Fast from Myers. And I couldn't have been more wrong. And I'm so embarrassed to say that because I'm always right. Ask my husband. So I will explain my story about that at a later date. And the second way that we earn income primarily is later. If you decide to build a team or even just have a few people who are signed up as discount coaches that got challenge packs from you and they wanted to get the discount going forward, whatever, as the team, both directions, so from your input and from the entire team's input grows, we all get every week. I mean, I get a check, even if it's like $100 every single week, even if I haven't done anything. Like in my own business, I don't have to sell something every week to get a paycheck, because the teams, we have what's called team cycle bonuses. And so the team's productivity helps all of the members individually. Even if you're having an off week or an off month, you're still going to get something pretty much, unless you're on a crappy team. But that's not possible with us because we're the best one. Or so everybody says. So that's kind of how that goes. And there's other forms of bonuses and incentives. They have a fantastic recognition program called Success Club. I am 99% sure, because I'm like not even 100 people down on this wait list that got all the way to 8,000 people that went on the trip last year, but get to go to Punta Cana for free next April for 5 days and 4 nights with my husband. And I just work towards it all year. So as I get Success Club points each month, all those equate like $10 towards your trip. And you can get trip dollars and all these things. Basically, it comes down to you're only responsible for your airfare, which I could probably handle that. So that's just one tiny example. I mean, we literally get prizes every single month. And, you know, you get recognition in so many different ways. So they definitely reward. There's a bajillion other things they do per year, but they definitely reward everyone for their hard work, no matter what engagement level you're at. That's kind of how that would work. And then people ask too, like, oh, what's the initial investment? Because I've heard that, and I don't know this, but I've heard from other people that some companies that use a similar sales model or use a direct sales model, you have to buy in like $500 or $1,000 or even in some cases $5,000 worth of something so that you can start selling it to other people. And fortunately, that is not the case, because Beachbody does all the warehousing, packaging, and shipping for you. So if somebody wants to be in your challenge group and they want to try the 21-day fix, and you've had a conversation with them about their goals and why they want to do it and helping them really understand like how this would fit into their life, you actually get your own website. As soon as your coach account is created, you get your own website where you can just give out a link to these people, and then they order the package as if they were ordering it from, Beachbody, except it's coming through your account. So that's how you'd get the commission from it. And it's that simple. I don't have to have anything in my house or in stock. And if you will, my startup cost was, I decided to get a challenge pack. So at that time, I think mine was, the one I got was like $140. And that was just because I wanted the workout program so bad. And I just wanted to get a better deal than buying them separately. It wasn't even because I wanted everything else that came with it. And then if not, the other alternative is they do have like what's called a $40 business startup fee that's waived if you get a program at the same time, because obviously they want you to start trying the stuff. And if not, it's a $40 fee. So it's like, okay, it's no matter how you slice it, it's way less than $200 like to even, I mean, it's definitely going to be less than $150 to even get a full workout program in Shakeology and everything. So there's not what I would consider not a steep initial investment. Now, I don't know everybody's financial situation, but I mean, I did have to set money aside from 2 different paychecks for us to have enough extra for me to purchase something like that. So I definitely understand how that goes. And so basically kind of the next steps and things to think about, like if you were to decide like, hey, I want to give this a shot, like either as a part-time or part-time going full-time or whatever level of coach, like, but you do want to build a business of some sort. Kind of the next steps would be the first 30 days we would be, you and I would be in touch quite a bit, because that's really the, you know, your initial launching point. I am starting a Coach Basics training on Monday, February 1st. It's going to be 30 days, and it's for any of, you know, coaches that have joined the team in January who want to learn the skills that they need to essentially start building their own business. And, you know, access to all those tools and those resources and those guides that we discussed would all come into play in much more detail during the Coach Basics training. And then in addition to that, you know, we would hopefully, if you don't have one already, help you find a workout program or something like that so that you can kind of starting to get versed in like how everything fits together, and, you know, and also taking care of yourself at the same time. And additionally, what would we do? Oh, the next thing I usually do after that is within 7 days, I try to have the new coach schedule what I call a getting started call with me. And it's like 30 minutes. We just chat on our cell phones, which is cool. And I have a pretty set agenda though for what I go through, where we'll discuss your goals and how you feel it fits into your life, and, you know, what level of involvement you want to have and all those fun things, so that I can give you some concrete action steps and tasks to get you moving. Because, you know, if you don't know where to start, it's really hard to start. So that's the primary reason of that. And then additionally, you know, I'd get you plugged into everything that we have, as far, like I said, the resources, our team page on Facebook, so you can kind of get introduced to the other girls on my team and just start to absorb stuff and get the flow for what, you know, what you're seeing and what your, you know, time will look like. And then all that stuff, we're good. Yeah, so pretty much by my general goal is, you know, by the end of February, for anybody who went through Coach Basics in February, you know, hopefully we'll have you to a good solid point where you know where you're headed and you know how to access whatever tools or resources you need. And, you know, we can still touch base once a week, once every other week, whatever you need, to help you kind of, you know, get going. But I definitely like want to make sure that everybody feels, you know, empowered and independent enough to do stuff, you know, to build up the courage to do stuff like what I'm doing right now, eventually on your own. And, you know, like I said, this has taken me a year and I still feel like don't know what I'm doing. So, so don't feel like, oh my gosh, she's going to shove me out of the nest like a month after I do this and I'm going to have to do everything myself. No, your first challenge group, you would run with me. I would actually run the entire group. You would just get to invite people to it or talk about it on your Facebook page and then add them to the group after they got their challenge pack from you. And I would do the dirty work so that you could see how it goes, how it flows, what resources I use, when I decide to interject things that are different, and just how the whole process goes from beginning to end, so that by the time that's done, you'll be about 6 weeks in and hopefully you'll be ready to kind of talk next steps and figure out where you want to go. So that's kind of what that first 30 days-ish would look like. And, oh good, I'm doing really well on time. Yay. So basically, like call to action, things to do after this, like after we get done with this or after you get done listening to this. Number one, think about where you are right now in your life. I don't care if you're thinking personally, financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever. Put some thought to it. Put it on a piece of paper. Like, this is where I am right now. You know, these are the things that are concerning me or causing me stress or causing me fear, right? And then on the literally on the flip side, what's the after? If you found something at this juncture in your life that could completely change the course of a lot of these things, potentially all of them, what would your life look like in 2 years? And I legitimately mean 2 years. I don't mean 10 years. I mean 2 years. What would it look like? Like, what would your crazy cool dreams be? And, you know, I have this ridiculous one of I want to get out of debt, and I want my husband to be able to stay home with our kids by the end of this calendar year. And so sometimes you just have to, like, literally, they're up in front of me on this wall, so my hands are up. Put them out in front of you and go. And so that's something I wanted you to start putting some thought to if you do want to consider doing something like this. And then secondly, and also importantly, once you're able to do that, digest things a little bit, and get questions answered, I would hope that whoever is, wanting to do the next step and schedule a call and get into training would reach out to me, maybe email, Facebook, text, whatever contact mechanisms we have, and let me know kind of where you're at mentally, what your plans are, what other questions you have, and I will get you rolling, and then and then we'll head off from there. So just kind of wanted to give you those tasks, those action item things to think about as you kind of process everything. And because I know it is a lot of information, I could have skipped over something huge and not even realized it because I just have an outline here and I was talking. So I really wonder, I'll probably go back and watch this and be like, oh, look, you're like blackout talking. You don't even know what you're saying anymore. So hopefully it all made sense and it was in one language. So that being said, question or questions? Don't feel pressured. If you don't have one, it's fine.
So somebody is Beachbody coach and they're using the workout programs and the nutrition programs to help that person out. Is it frowned upon to help that person with workout programs that may not be part of the Beachbody program?
I don't think it's frowned upon so much, but just, I wouldn't, use it for publishing purposes, like something to like promote your business. But no, I don't think that it's like, I don't think that's the end of the world. And and this is just my philosophy, but, I have because a huge caveat of this, and you'll learn this quickly, is like, we have these things we call the 3 vital behaviors, which are like daily activities that we should be doing if we want to like grow a business and move it forward, right? And one of them, which I totally understand, is to, share what you're doing and be a product of the product. Like, if we're going to talk the talk, we got to walk the walk, because if not, why would anybody, trust you? And that's really important, especially with something like this, that you're authentic and relatable and that people can trust you. So I'm not going to lie, like, there's been stretches of time in the last year where I'm not actively doing a workout program. Some people really do just stop one and start another one a couple days later. And I'm not always like that. Like, that's just not how my life is, but I'm honest with people about it. I don't sit here and say, oh yeah, I just jogged 3 miles when I didn't do anything or even put, like real clothes on, just wear pajamas. So it's like, I guess it's all in how you want to perceive it, but like I said, you can't be like scolded, but you also don't want to be like actively promoting something else that has like nothing to do with it, because people won't trust you.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah. Okay.
What else?
I'm interested in what I've been doing.
Yeah, I really been doing
20 pounds.
That's amazing. I don't even know if you realize how insane that is. So many people just don't have any, like, you've obviously pulled resources together and stuff so you knew what to do.
Yeah.
And that takes so much work. Hardly anybody is willing to do that. Like, seriously, mad kudos to you. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And that's like something that on so many levels, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, if she can do it all by herself, why can't I do it with her help?
Right.
And that's kind of a key thing. And, and like I said too, we're not looking for, supermodels or bikini competitors. That doesn't, I mean, you can't relate to people like that. Like, it's hard because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to look like them, but I don't think I'm really going to be like that because I like pizza or I like wine or whatever. Like, it's just not real life all the time, but that doesn't mean you can't get way healthier in the process and, add some value to other people's lives on the way. Just my 2 cents. Do you have anything else?
I'm interested, but I'm like right now what I'm doing is working for me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to try something new because I have this fear in the back of my mind that it might halt my weight loss process.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if I don't do it right or I screw it up or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or I expect my weight loss to slow down a little bit.
Right. It'll put
like I lost 20 pounds very rapidly. I don't expect, like I was losing like 4 to 5 pounds a week. I don't expect to keep doing that per week. I expect it to slow down, but I just don't want to do anything to halt it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, and I think we should definitely talk about that more.